It is finally time. Every gamer's favorite time of the year, the Game Awards. This is where we get to see so many things get brushed aside and pushed over for trailers and advertisements.
Game Awards, 3.5 hours long, always feels too long. And I think maybe 15 minutes of that 3.5 hours is like actual award speeches, like
person
the
walking
whole
on
thing.
stage, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
You're
get
right,
maybe
it is too long. I always forget that. Being like, God damn, like I got to go to work tomorrow. It's always something
it's
like
always
that.
on a Thursday too.
Yeah.
Like they haven't decided like what if we did this on a Saturday night or something,
or a Friday night.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess it is what it is. It's been what it is for the last
10 years.
I mean, this is like 10 years now.
2014 was the first one.
Wow. And then before that, obviously there was the other awards. I forget the names of all of them.
The Spike Video Game Awards was
Spike Video Game Awards.
So, but
the whole thing's been around for 10, 15 years. But it's gotten, I guess, better in a like. It's not as cringy anymore, but in a way that's made it lost its charm, I guess, for me a little bit.
Sure.
Because I'm looking forward to a mistake or a funny moment.
Out, he's not authentic anymore.
Now everything is very corporate and run too smoothly, and it's too long, and it just makes it kind of.
They are too long.
I couldn't tell you what was announced last year. Like if you quiz me right now,
lots of our two favorite types of trailers for games, right? Two favorite announcements are a CG trailer for a game that has no title, that's a brand new IP, so nothing you would recognize, made by a person or a group of people who are known for doing a game you like somewhere. And they're announcing their studio and that they're making a game. Here's a CG trailer. Yep. They just started, so really this doesn't mean anything. That or the most insane production values possible on a trailer for a mobile game with bikini ladies in it because they have billions of dollars from manipulating horny weirdos into getting, all these bikini ladies in these mobile games.
And those are the only two canceled in 5 years anyway.
But we won't ever remember that they existed. It'll just fizzle away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, like you said, in between the 3.5 hours of advertisements and commercials and advertisements separating the advertisements that we like, are these awards. And there's a good, oh my goodness, like 18, 19, 20, there's like 24 of these or something like that. Awards officially on the Game Awards. I want to talk about, how many did I write down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to talk about 8 of these awards today. Let's talk about the eight, not most important, although some of them are the most important, but eight big ones for us, and who we think will win. So are you ready? This is a game, because if we lose, we're gonna keep track. I won't forget, but we're gonna keep track.
We have too many podcasts and streams that have consequences that are undisclosed to the audience, but it is what it is, just like the Game Awards, it is what it is. Let's get into it.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So our first award up here is Best Adaptation. The nominees.
This is the second year of this award, because I believe last year was the first time, right, with this award, or was it two more years ago?
I think it was at least 2 years, because Sonic 2 was up, and Arcane, the League of Legends cartoon, won.
Right. It's still a newish, I guess, in terms of the awards itself.
Sure.
And it's one that kind of surprised wasn't made earlier, because of we've been reviewing video game movies on this show, old and new, and there's quite a bit out there, so I feel like it's not hard to just, even if it was only, let's say, 4 nominees versus the 5, I feel like it would be really easy every year. I guess, to be fair, video game movies historically don't have as much credibility, I guess you could say, in general movie audiences around the world. But now they kind of are in the last couple of years, thanks to movies like Sonic the Hedgehog, which you might have noticed. Which you might notice, out of our 5 nominees here, Sonic 3 isn't on the list. And I did see some, on Twitter, some Sonic fans get upset by this. And I'm not going to say I'm upset, but I kind of am surprised that Sonic 3 isn't on this list when we have movies like, I mean, I get a Minecraft movie, it was very popular,
Why don't you read
Chicken
off
Jockey.
the nominees?
Yeah, a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, Last of Us Season 2, Until Dawn. So I think we have a couple TV shows here and movies. So it's just any video game adaptation.
Right.
We've seen a Minecraft movie in Until Dawn. I've watched Last of Us Season 2.
I did
I've not
not.
watched Devil May Cry or Splinter Cell, Death Watch. However, remember last year, I think there was only one video game movie in that list. But so I'm happy, I guess, to see more of the movies, I guess. But I am very much surprised that Sonic 3 is missing. I think Sonic 3 could easily be swapped for the things I have knowledge of.
Maybe
I
it's
would
just because
argue,
it came out like in like December, because like that's the thing. Like the Game Awards cutoff is
yeah,
like mid-November, and so like Indiana Jones is nominated for a few things, even though that game came out last year. And so I think maybe the same thing happened, but really like
people forgot
no
about it, I
offense to
guess. But
any of these of five things here, but I'm sure that Sonic could have equally maintained a spot next
yeah, I
to
mean, I'm
him. I just think
surprised. I
people
mean,
just don't care.
yeah, I mean, I
Um,
liked Until Dawn. But like, if you're just going from a popularity contest, which most of these awards turn out to be, in my opinion, I feel like I'm surprised Until Dawn was on here because I feel like no one really talked about that movie.
right.
Even though I feel like it's one of the better ones I've watched in the theaters, video game movie wise,
Hmm.
in the last couple years. I know we had our disagreements on the ranking of that film, but I'm more surprised at Last of Us season 2 because I feel like the
It came
adaptation
out and
itself,
no one
it
talked
came
about it.
out. And it was the first season was really hyped. It got a lot of people interested in The Last of Us who didn't play the games. Um, and as a fan of the games, generally speaking, I'm not like a diehard fan, but I've enjoyed the games. I remember feeling pretty disappointed in it. I mean, not super disappointed. I just wish it was longer and it felt kind of rushed at some parts. Some parts were great. Some changes they made were great.
Okay.
But then there's other parts where I was like, this needed to be stretched out longer. But I also was kind of predictable, and I think that's why I'm kind of disappointed in some ways. I don't know. I go back and forth of how much I enjoyed it or whatnot, or maybe I let too many other people's opinions kind of change my perspective or not. But I remember people being kind of feeling it was kind of mid. Even people
Okay.
who haven't played the games, I feel like people are kind of like on it. But at the same time, I guess I'm not surprised it's on here just because once again, popularity contest. They want to make sure they put on arguably one of the bigger HBO shows in the last couple years on there.
And just
Minecraft movie, same thing. That movie I don't think was it was what it was. I remember we generally enjoyed it. We thought it was had its moments, but it I feel like it's not going to be remembered as much in the next couple years. But
yeah.
Chicken Jockey will carry you. Sometimes vibes are so good you win things. But I can't speak for Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, but yeah, Sonic 3 not being here, even though I that's my least favorite of the Sonic movies. I'm still surprised it wasn't on here
Likewise.
because I feel like it was a very much a video game movie. Like I feel like it was very much catered to the Sonic fans, and to have a kind of a love letter movie like that not be on best adaptations. But I kind of think what you're saying of maybe it was forgotten about somehow because it came out in December. I feel like that
Yeah.
happens with even other award shows as well, where it's like, oh yeah, that was January, and that I forgot about it because recency bias.
Sure.
I don't know who's gonna win this one. I can see it being a Minecraft movie, I guess, just because I think the vibes will carry it. And I've only heard people like are positive on it, or people are like, it ain't for me, but I'm glad people are having fun. And I feel like that can just win the
Okay.
award in that,
Okay.
right? When I feel
Okay.
like Last of Us season 2 would be too divisive. Until Dawn, I feel
No
like
one
just not enough people talked about
remembers.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't. Honest to God, I didn't realize Splinter Cell Death Watch came out, and I heard only negative things about Devil May Cry. But like to me, like yes, I do think it's between a Minecraft movie and Last of Us season 2, only because that like the Minecraft movie was a commercial box office hit, and all the kids loved the meme of
yeah,
going to see the movie. Having not seen Last of Us season 2, I heard like basically nothing about it. It was just like yeah, it's out and okay, whatever. So I assume that was means it's not as good as the first season to most people. But I still think that the types of people who vote on this, and not that like the Game Awards itself or Jeff Keighley like has really any sway on votes or anything like that. At least I hope that that's not the case.
Can you imagine that
I
comes
don't
out
think that
in
ever
like 3 years, a
would.
big
I
thing
mean,
that
that would be
it's
so
just what
fucking
he voted
funny.
for.
But like at the same time, it is like that is the most like pretentious pick for like best story of all time in video games is
Yeah.
The Last of Us, and I can just see like that level of love. But that being said, this isn't one of the categories where like it's a lot of audience or very specific like all the esports categories like most of the outlets that they ping for votes, like they're not answering those. They don't get those categories. They send those
Yeah.
out to specific people. I assume this goes to like everyone because everyone can watch a movie and a television show. So who knows? But I would put, so we should put official like predictions on these. I will put mine on The Last of Us season 2. What about you?
I'm gonna say Minecraft movie, chicken
Okay.
jockey all the way. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Black fucking makes an appearance at this thing and says chicken jockey into a microphone at some point. Maybe I'll put that in my stream predictions when we do the stream.
Yeah, fuck, that's a
But
good one. That's a good one. Okay, let's move on to best independent game, which is over here. Our nominees are Absalom, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. I'll go first on this one. I heard Absalom was a cool like rogue like beat 'em up like a Streets of Rage or whatever by a team that made a really good Streets of Rage like reboot revival
Mm.
thing. But that came out really recently. I haven't really heard much about it, but I hear people really like it. Ball Pit, I have played, I have platinumed. Ball Pit rules. It is Vampire Survivors as a breakout Arkanoid style game. I don't think it's as good as a lot of other roguelikes because I think that structure kind of limits what it's capable of, and it's very much like now I'm waiting for DLC versus like any of the other roguelikes where I can just play them forever. You know what I mean? Like I'm done with that game. I have no desire to play it again because the content's dried up. But it's a lot of fun and it's a neat idea. Blueprints is on my game of the year, short list of favorite games that came out this year. I have not platinumed this game because of issues that it had save file wise, but I will go in and finish that. The game rules. It's very cerebral. However, I do like people were championing this game when it came out. It was one of those like people wouldn't shut up about this game, myself included. That hasn't happened like since the summer. You know what I mean? Like people just don't talk
Mm.
about this game anymore. So I'm curious to see if it can carry that much. However, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, granted it's on a much bigger
The
scope of
33rd
production.
installment
Yes,
in the series.
yes. Its production values are like they dwarf everything around them combined, except maybe Hades too. Um, so it is interesting to put it up here when like this is spoilers up for Game of the Year and stuff like that. But in terms of like AAA style stuff, but like this is a game people still talk about. I haven't played it. It is extremely up my alley as a Final Fantasy 13 like game, very specific to that style of turn based RPG, and it looks really cool. And I think it has a lot of buzz even still of people wanting to be like, yeah, you got to play this game. You got to play this game, like the Blueprints thing, but like it just continued. Hades
Mm.
2, I haven't played, but I hear is awesome, even better than the first game, which, we loved Hades. It came out in 2020. It was my game of the year for that year. Even though 2020, that went to The Last of Us Part 2. Wild that happened
Yeah, I mean
5 years ago.
I played more games in that year probably than a couple years after combined,
Right.
just because of the pandemic and you couldn't go outside.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I really
yeah.
liked Hades as well. But I mean, going back to what you were saying with like Blueprints, like I feel like I didn't hear anybody talk about
Well, because
Hades
like it was
2.
in early access for like a year or so, and so like
Mm.
all of that buzz is kind of happening, rolling in waves over the course of the year versus a holy shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people who
And
would
it's a
be doing
sequel,
that. Yeah, yeah,
I think
exactly.
that
I
always
hear
there's a ceiling, or a floor rather, that like people don't need to talk about it because
sure it's a known
it
quantity. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I hear that it is more than just the same type of thing again. People really like that game. I'm waiting for it to come to PlayStation because I don't want to play. The game's too long for me to play twice, and I need my platinum trophy, and I'm okay waiting right now because I hear they're also like they did an update or whatever. And then Hollow Knight Silksong, it's the type of game, just that first game, just didn't grab me. I have no ill will towards Hollow Knight. I'm sure people actually liked the idea of playing Silksong and not just memeing about when will it come out. But people really said that's really, really good. And it's recent enough, and it's got that like, oh my god, can you believe that it's finally here? Like it was announced, I think in 2019 or something like that, or I don't know. Of these six, personally, I do think I guess it will probably go to Hollow Knight Silksong, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Clair Obscur. But I will put my stamp on Silksong. What are your opinions on these six games? Knowing that I know you played all six of them to
right?
completion.
Yeah.
More than
I'm
I
gonna
have.
say this. I saw, I think Jeff Keighley said, or someone mentioned that Clair Obscur has the most ever like total nominations.
Right.
So that's where it makes it really funky. Like, just if you were betting on these, right? Like, don't do that. But if you were betting on these, my heart of hearts would say just put Clair Obscur for everything, and you'll probably get a couple hits on a couple.
Sure.
I could see, and I was looking back the last couple awards because I feel like every year we're trying to find the trends, or like, well, when a game is nominated for multiple things, does it win all the other ones except for the big one, or does it win the big one and doesn't get the small ones? And I've looked back. Astrobot was a rare, I feel like, example of where all the awards it did win except for one.
Okay.
But I think it was only 3 awards, but it did win Game of the Year, and I remember that was a little bit surprising for folks. I know we were kind of cheering for Balatro just because it's the indie guy, versus the big corporate machine that seems to always win these awards.
Yeah.
And the year before that, which was what was that one again? I'm blanking on it, but
2023.
I think that was.
Man.
I'm blanking on because it was Balatro was in that didn't win, but that was in the next year. Regardless, I looked back at the last couple of years, and generally speaking, I remember I think it was Alan Wake was another one that was up for Game of the Year. It won a lot of its side awards, but didn't win the big one. So I'm gonna be really curious to see where Clair Obscur falls on this because of how many. There's no way it's gonna win all of them, right? I mean, like if it wins all of them, then Clair Obscur better be the best game of all time, like just straight up. If you're winning every award that you're in, I'm with you. I think Silksong here. But if not, yeah, I do agree. It'd probably be Clair Obscur. I'm gonna cheer for your Blueprints game.
Yeah.
I like that you were talking about it. It sounded cool, and
It
I'm always
is a
cheering
really
for
cool
underdogs.
game. Yes,
I'm cheering for
exactly.
the underdogs. In a way, I don't see Hollow Knight.
The 2023.
That's right.
Game of the
Baldur's
Year
Gate did win a lot of other awards. Like I think it did.
So
kind of
I guess
sweep.
here's my question, because part of my reasoning for putting Hollow Knight here is I don't think it's going to win any of the bigger awards.
That's what I'm kind of leaning towards too.
But like, is that the myth? Is it a myth? The idea of like people
Yeah.
being like, well, I got to give this game some awards, so I'll
looked at the last
vote for this
yeah.
one.
I only
'Cause
looked at the last
wonder,
couple years.
you
I looked at the last couple years, and it kind of just a mixed bag. So it might just feel that way in the moment, where it's like, man, this game's winning everything. Or one
Clair
year
Obscur
it
could
feels
just do that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it'll win every single thing. Like I said, unless it really does go down, I feel like it's got to be a Mario 64 level of like changing the climate of gaming. Like really being like shifting the thing. And I think Clair Obscur has been talked about a lot. I do see people talk about it a lot on my like Twitter feed and whatnot, to the point where I'm like, I guess that's where I'm leading for most of these awards. But it's not enough to where like, yeah, I think it's going to win every single award, but we'll see. You never know.
Okay.
But yeah, let's pick Silksong in this one.
So we're both saying Hollow Knight Silksong. Next up, best performance. This is an award for people. This is an award for like the people that talk. And our 6 actors, we have Ben Starr from Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Charlie Cox from Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Erika Ishii from Ghost of Yote, Jennifer English from Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Konatsu Kato from Silent Hill F, and Troy Baker from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a game that came out, again, last, December.
Yeah.
I have just one point. I don't know if Konatsu Kato is the Japanese or the English voice of the main character in
I
Silent Hill
believe
F.
they're. I believe it was.
I think this is the Japanese actress because
I
she
believe
looks
so.
like the. I've seen like short clips or whatever of whoever these is the actress of the Silent Hill F main character has been doing like streams of it, because she's getting really scared, blah 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 of the own game that like her
No,
likeness
I'm
is in
pretty
it or
sure it is
something.
her. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Because I believe, yeah,
And
if I'm not
unfortunately,
mistaken.
this is gonna. I think that's a hindrance, unfortunately, because I think the majority of people that have played that game that would be voting have played an English version of that game and just don't know who this lady is. And
I thought the game was only. I mean, I'm sure there is English dub, but I thought the game like was pushed to be in Japanese. I thought with
I
subtitles.
haven't played it.
At
I
least that's
know
what I thought. But same
one
with
of
I guess same with Ghost of Yotai a little bit. I know there's like they kind of really marketed the
sure.
even with the first game with Ghost of Tsushima with it being like, hey, watch it with Japanese. We have Japanese performance, like pretty famous Japanese performance artists in this and whatnot. And they wanted to be like a true samurai film. I'm gonna say this. I think it's always bullshit that you have 3 people from one game. There's so many other voice actors. I'm sure you could. No offense to all of them. I'm sure they're all great. But like, I just feel like it's same with if it was Last of Us or anything. He's like, come on, just pick one standout performance from the game. Like, who's the best of that group? I'm sorry if that makes you. It feels like that
Unfair.
limits unfair, but it's also kind of unfair that like maybe someone didn't make the cut because they squeezed in 3 clear obscure folks here. Also, Troy Baker has won this before. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he's
Not
gonna win at
multiple.
all. I mean, people really liked his Harrison Ford impression, but that game, like, it is the last year straggling like hanging Chad, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, Dingleberry games in the Game Awards that like always just get completely forgotten, completely like passed
Yeah.
aside. So like,
I'm just for
I
new
don't know.
names. No offense to Troy Baker either. In this regard. So that's why I'm like another reason I'm like want one game and I want just hopefully new people. Because Troy Baker is always in the actual thing in some capacity. He always announces an award.
Yeah.
Clearly, he ain't gonna announce this one unless he wins it. But
He is the only non-Hollywood person that Kojima likes, apparently, because
oh,
he's in the Death Stranding games, despite having just like the star-studded cast.
I'm just gonna cheer for Konatsu Kato because I have seen clips like you said of her playing the game and I think that's cool. And I know the role itself, at least what I loosely know about the game, is that it is pretty like, it's not the most, it isn't a fun character to kind of be, I guess if that
Sure.
best way I can put it. It's about women's oppression in Japan in the 60s. So I think that's kind of a tough character to do. That's something very interesting to do. So I guess I'm cheering for her. And I don't know I don't know what to do when you have 3 people from one game. Like, I feel like, does that split the votes? Does that
Right.
hurt all of them? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
and
is there
having
one
not
that
played
just
it, it's
really
not
stands out?
obvious. Because like, here's the thing: I want to root for Silent Hill F just as a game, even though I haven't played it, and I really want to, just because I'm very like proud of the fact that Konami made like they didn't like pull in like they didn't like I don't know phone it in or just like let's just make a spooky horror thing. Like they actually cared about what
Yeah.
Silent Hill means
I,
versus any other things,
my
and
one of the
so like
yeah, the
that's
next
what I
game I
would
want
root
to get
for. But
the next game I want to get is either Ghosts of Yotai or Silent Hill. I've been going back and forth. Ghosts of Yotai looks really cool, but also I know it's an
you'll
open world
finish Silent
game.
Hill.
But I'm like, I probably will finish Silent Hill or get close to it. And I
Yeah.
haven't played a Silent Hill game, but I've always loved the movies and the times I have seen other people play it.
I started the remake of Silent Hill 2, and it's damn good,
Hell
and
yeah.
it seems like it's changed a bit from the original. Here's what just my raw opinions, having not played any of the games that these actors are in. I know like Charlie Cox is a Hollywood man, and he's Daredevil and all that. People really like him, but Ben Starr is like the current Troy Baker, like rising Troy Baker actor. People really like Ben Starr. He's in a lot of
The
stuff.
Troy Baker Award winner,
Yeah,
future Troy Baker Award
he's
winner.
willing to clown himself in a way that doesn't come off as like attention seeking, if that makes sense. He
Mm.
seems like a genuine person. So I think just vibes wise, if I can uh throw up as a millennial and use that word too many times, I think that he has attention on him regardless of the roles, you know what I mean, regardless of performance. So I can see him maybe angling for a win. I know people um I don't know if I honestly don't know how Erika Ishii did as the character in Ghost of Yotei. I don't know what the character's name is. Just the ghost, I guess. I'm sure that character has a name. But I know people really came to her defense when all of like the chuds were like, "How dare they make the sequel to this game and have a woman as the character and all that stuff?" And she's been on Critical Role and stuff like that. So that's how I know who she is. And I think she's in like TV shows or whatnot. So I think just again, just like reading the tea leaves, on just like video game voice acting stuff, she has a lot of attention, positive attention on her. I don't know which of the characters in Claire Obscure Jennifer English plays, because there's like three main playable female characters in the party. I think three. I don't know which one she plays, so I don't know if she is one of the more popular of the three or not. But I've seen the name a lot in regards to that game, so who maybe it might be her. And I think people, while they really liked Troy Baker's performance as Harrison Ford, it's more of just like, wow, he really sounds like him. And
Yeah,
it's not like a new thing.
it's not a new character, and you already have the source material to work with. It's more of your, I mean, hey, it's hard to do impressions sometimes,
And he
So
really
like, I
nailed
get
it. So like that's
Yeah, but
um
I'm with you where I'm like, I'd rather give it to someone who has to play a new character or whatnot. But
I will. So let's put our stamps on this. I'll put my stamp on Ben Starr as a likely winner. Um,
I'm gonna go Silent Hill F with Kanatsu Kato. Why
okay,
not?
okay.
I believe.
I can highlight and I can move the names up. We can make them talk. Hello, please subscribe to this channel. I agree. All right, our next category: best score and music, the tunes of these video games. Our five nominees.
And this is specifically the soundtrack, right? This isn't. I know there's audio.
There is an audio.
direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is not to say sound effects, but yes, there is all that stuff is a different category. So this is
So the baby
essentially
crying,
music.
it isn't being considered in the Death
Right,
Stranding
right,
2
right,
on the
right.
beach.
Yeah, so in
Nominee.
reverse order, we have. It's funny to see Woodkid as, I guess, the composer of this game, but Ludwig and Ludwig Forsell of Death Stranding 2 on the beach. There's also lots of licensed tracks in there, if I recall. Ghost of Yotei's composer Toma Otawa, Claire Obscure Expedition 33's Laureen Testard, Hades 2's Darren Korb, and Hollow Knight Silk Song's Christopher Larkin. I will say this. Darren Korb has never missed. Every single Supergiant game has had awesome music done by him, and it's like only ever gotten better and better. I've listened to a few tracks from Hades 2, having not played the game, and I'm like, yeah, this rules. People also love the music of Claire Obscure Expedition 33, like a lot. Like it's got some banger JRPG, French JRPG music, I guess, that like people really really like. I heard Kojima say Woodkid a lot. I don't know if that means people really like the music in that. And for Hollow Knight and Ghost of Yotei, I haven't really heard anyone specifically call out the music as like a big thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I feel like Ghost of Yotei, like,
Maybe more soundscapes.
I watched a lot of the Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know they had a lo-fi thing. They added a lo-fi like music selection like that you can switch to at any time. So there's like cool like choice music you can do in the game, so it's not like you have to pick one, or like it just tells you this is what it is. But I don't know if it's gonna win just because of it. Once again, a sequel. The hype is always gonna be there, but it maybe isn't as doesn't feel as groundbreaking, and I feel like when you're up for awards, sometimes the groundbreaking ones win.
Right.
Like I think Hades 2, I don't know if Darren Corb's won awards in the past for
I
any of his
actually
other
don't know.
games,
I
but
don't know.
I do like his stuff too. But I can see once again the same thing where, all right, you're just building off a sequel, like it's hard to tell. I don't know much about, I haven't heard anything about Hollow Knight, like really in terms of the music.
And like, hey,
But
it's
I'm
nominated
assuming,
for a reason, I'm sure, right? So,
yeah.
um,
But this one I can see, yeah. I think we just put Claire Obscure on this one.
that's what I was angling. Yeah.
Because if it's up for other awards, it's got to win. It'd be weird if it didn't win any of them and then just won even just Game of the Year. So I'm assuming it's going to win a couple.
Right.
But I'll be happy, I guess, if Hades 2 or
Okay.
wins. But just
I would be happy
my
for
knowledge
Hades
of him.
2. I would be happy for Hideo Kojima's friends for Death Stranding 2.
I'm gonna say it. I don't know if Death Stranding 2 will win anything in any of its awards this year. I think the Kojima, we love Kojima, but I think the Kojima like hype energy around him is kind of just not like it is what it is. Once again, going to the sequel thing, but like talk about decades, where it's like, yes, we know what we're getting, from Kojima, and this is a sequel to a game that I know some people were kind of like iffy on.
Yeah.
Not everybody was like, this is for me included, where I was like, this ain't for me. I respect it.
There's a lot of people who felt like that first game was a bit of a rug pull because it was like a month and a half before that first game came out, that they actually showed the regular style of gameplay, like what you're doing. People being like, oh, you know what I mean? And then, but I've come around on Death Stranding. I need to finish that first game, which is why I haven't played the second one. And I have to platinum it because I'm sick. I'm just sick in the head like that. So before I play the sequel, but like the game comes out, the second game comes out earlier this year, and like everyone's talking about it for a week. I know a whole bunch of people flew out and played like 40 hours of it at Kojima Productions, before going home and starting over and playing it again. And like it was like a week of, maybe even just a weekend of like, yeah, oh, this game rules, this game is awesome, and then not a peep since beyond that game was good. Well, it's weird no one talks about it. Like that's the only conversations I've heard. So I
makes me think it's
you're
more
right.
in the good not great category.
And yeah, like you said, it's a sequel of a known quantity that I think Kojima hype stuff comes from, unfortunately, like teasing a new idea completely. You know what I mean? Where you can be like, oh, what's this going to be? Or like,
in all of the trailers, right? We're always like, what does this mean? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then like, even for the second one, you're like, well, we have a loose idea. So it kind of loses the mystery.
And I know not to look
it.
too much into it because like the Kojima trailer
stuff is just for funsies.
It always upset me that for Metal Gear Solid 5, every single cutscene in that game was represented in the trailers. Every cutscene had footage used in the trailers, and Death Stranding 1, I haven't finished that game, feels like it's like that as well. So for Death Stranding 2, I'm like, I was watching those trailers and being like, all right, so this is probably here and that's probably there. Okay, I think this is towards the end of the game. And like I'm already doing that stuff, and it's like, no, you know what I mean? I hate that.
I mean, that's also movie trailers in general now.
Yeah.
Too. I think it's just a new marketing thing. We have to show all the set pieces for you to come into the theater or buy the game, whatever it is. Unfortunately. It can't just be up to a surprise when you encounter it, but it is what it is. Let's vote for, I guess we're voting for Claire Obscure here.
Yes, Lorraine or Lorraine. Yeah, is that, I don't know.
Lorraine
Testard?
Lorraine.
I don't know.
Claire
Obscure. Our next award, as if I'm doing this, is Best Art Direction. Here are our 5 games: Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong. Wow, it feels like these are the same 5 games from the previous.
Wow, just in a different order.
Yeah, because it was the names of the composers in alphabetical order.
I think if Ghosts of Yotai wins anything, it'll be this award because of just it's a pretty game and they really cared about the experience. They want to make it, and there's different modes. Once again, there's different music modes. I know there's different like cinematic modes where based off of like different types of famous Japanese directors who did like certain stylized samurai films. So I could see them winning just for having the ability for you to switch between that and make your kind of own thing out of that, and the fact that they made it so like you can have a chiller gameplay versus a more of a noir almost samurai film. You know what I mean? I think that's really cool. Um, I just feel like if it's gonna win an award, it's gonna be that. I just feel like it's stuck in that sequel
Right.
category
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And honestly, does Death Stranding 2 have like, besides like the mocapping and like hyper realism look to it,
Well,
is it really have any art direction outside of like different places you go?
I
You
will
know what I
say
mean?
from my experience with the first game, a lot of the terrain and environment is beautiful and very much specifically, even though it's supposed to be America, very much Iceland. It's basically it's Iceland, and I know in Death Stranding 2 on the beach, spoilers, it's Mexico and then Australia are the places you go to. Like that's where the game takes place in. And I know they've got like environmental stuff going on, like flash floods and all that. But like, yes, it is that Kojima, like, as real as I can. But like, I'm gonna put a 2% anime filter on just on things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's a reductive way of saying it, but you get the idea. Still, it's a little bit stylized, but still like. I
I
want
feel
I
like
want
with
to make sure
these,
you know that these are Hollywood actors, on the
yeah,
screen
I think that's
here.
what's tough about this award in general. I feel like it always feels way more catered to the more indie game, or even just like more of like hyper stylized games. Like Hades 2 has, each arena you're in is like has its own art direction in itself, right? Where it's like, okay, what do we want this stage to like feel like and look like? A little bit I know of Hollow Knight, I feel like it's kind of similar. But so I'm kind of leaning between those two if it's not Ghost of Yotai for me.
I can
I don't
see
know about Claire Obscure,
It's
but
a very beautiful looking game from what I can tell. I can see that actually winning. However, if we want to go by this game is nominated a lot, but it's probably not going to win anything. I'll vote for it for this award. I think this is Hades 2's award. Like I think
mm,
this is the only one. Yeah, but I can also see the same thing happening with Ghost of Yote, like you said. Uh, I don't know. I'll put my stamp on Hades 2.
I'll put it on Call of Duty Ghosts.
Okay. He's putting on Ghost of Yote.
Yeah, yes.
All right. Best narrative. We
This
have
is gonna.
5 games here: Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. Devon, what do you know about Kingdoms Have Come and they're delivering 2?
I remember this is another game where I feel like everyone was like, "This surprised me," because the first one was just kind of all right or had some cool elements to it, but it was missing something, to get it to like mainstream. And I feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I feel like everyone was playing it, at least on Twitch. I remember it popping up really big on Twitch when it came out, and like everyone was playing it and enjoying it. I don't know about the narrative experience. I'm assuming that has to play a role in a role playing game, you know.
Right.
So, and in fact, it's not up for any other awards I'm aware of, at least not the bigger ones that we're looking at right now. I feel like it has maybe a shot then. Or is this if Death Stranding 2 does win anything, does it get it here because it's Kojima?
Well, I mean, maybe.
But
I
I
can.
also really like like I said, I've only read the synopsis of Silent Hill F, but I really do like what I loosely know what it's about. Like I said,
I think it would be
1960s
cool if it won.
Japan, talking about women's being struggling women struggling as in 1960 Japan, post World War II Japan, all that. And I feel like the Silent Hill games, that's what they're kind of also known for, is having
Right.
that story woven through this, kind of depressive atmosphere. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like for these kind of things, I have to play it. You know what I mean, and
Right.
really know it. I'm gonna cheer for Silent Hill F. maybe, like I said, maybe it's Kingdom Come though, because it's the only one I'm aware of. I think that's on here, except for is it up for Game of the Year? I don't think so.
It might be up for the next award. I don't know really. Or
Um,
I don't remember. I will say I think that this award is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. People really love that game and people really like that story. But I do think again, if we want to go to this is the award that this game will win. You know what I mean? This is of the only ones that it's nominated for. I think it'd be cool if Silent Hill F won it, but I don't want to say it's a lock or anything like that for Claire Obscure Expedition 33, but I can see it winning. I Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 felt like it was even more flash in the pan than Death Stranding 2 was in terms of like it was like people talk about it and then never heard about it again. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't know. Death Stranding 2 like I guess it all depends on what that narrative is, but I hope that by 2025 we are thinking more critically and separating narrative, a story, right, versus performance of people in the story. When people, like I say this all the time, when the general hardcore gaming audience, votes together on what the best story in video games is, they tend to majority pick The Last of Us because it had motion capped actors performing those scenes very well. That's not a story, right? That's an element that makes up the story, but that's different, right? I can see if that mentality still lingers, Death Stranding 2 could have a shot there because, well, it's got Norman Reedus and it's got Elle Fanning and it's got a guy doing a voice and all the motion capture, but we have the face of George Miller on that dude. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like it's all the guys that you like and a couple ladies. I maybe that, but I feel like people really loved the story in Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Like that was like the glue that kept people like wanting to keep talking about that game. Um, so I guess I would love if Silent Hill F won, just because I think it would be cool if it did for what it's doing. Um, but I think I would, if I want to play smart here, I should put my stamp on Claire Obscure.
I'm gonna. I want Silent Hill F to win, but maybe I don't know why. I'm just like something's telling me Kingdom Come. I don't know. Just lock it
Okay.
in. I'm
Okay.
gonna go. I'm gonna win extra money if I'm putting some chips on Black One or whatever it is on the when you're doing roulette there. Like just I'm going or double zeros. I think is like the one that's like most unlikely. Going double zeros on it. I don't know. I don't think it's going to, but my gut is just telling me Kingdom Come
Okay.
Deliverance 2.
Okay. Okay.
Time
Yeah.
to deliver that game award.
Now we're gonna do best game direction. Oh yeah, I thought Kingdom Come was in here. I'm wrong. We have Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. I will say this: Split Fiction, because we haven't talked about this game yet, was a game that there's just a lot of games this year that like came out, people were like awesome, then never hear about it again. I think it gets like a week, you know what I mean, of like people talking about it. I know people really liked this game. Um, I really don't have any opinions on it other than I think like the whole like Joseph Ferris like marketing himself and his personality like a Kojima like auteur. I think it's an obnoxious way to do it. But that's not really an indicative of the quality of the video game, obviously. I know people liked it. People like if we want to talk about their last game, which was It Takes Two, that won 2019 the game, no, was it 2019 or 2021? 2021 the Game Awards. So like it's not like there's that studio is a stranger to the awards themselves. So maybe, but this is best game direction. So a two-player thing that maybe, but kind of from what I saw, like it was a lot of, I don't want to say gimmicky to say negative, but like in this level this is the idea, in this level this is the idea, in this level
Yeah.
this is the idea. So but like the fact that it is, well, it's always two people, like it has to be two people playing it at the same time, like that is novel enough, but not necessarily like what you're doing overall. Um, Hades 2, awesome roguelike from what I can tell. I can see that just being a very technical, like, yes, this is a very well designed game. Ghost Yote might be one of the, like, we've polished the PlayStation open world, this big budget open world game as much as possible. This is the most polished orb of open world AAA
Yeah.
games. Death Stranding 2, it's got weird ideas in it. And then Claire Obscure Expedition 30's theory is this kind of story about that game, generally about, like, as a video game, is like, no, yes, you can make a turn-based RPG, like a JRPG style turn-based game that people will love and buy millions of copies of. So like they did stuff in that regard. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think it was 2 years ago. Alan Wake 2, I think, won this award, but then didn't win the game award. But it did win this
Okay.
one, and I think one other kind of higher tier award. And I kind of feel like, is that going to happen here, where we get? This is where, whether it's Hades 2 or whatever wins a couple of these awards, maybe it gets this one, or is this just the build up for Claire winning the whole thing? So you give it to him here as well. So I'm kind of leaning towards that, or like you said, Hades 2, from a more like technical, uh, just well polished game from a developer that feels indie in a way, but at this point, uh, they've been around the block too. I'm gonna say Claire,
Okay.
just
Okay.
because I already went an oddball with the last one. So with Kingdom Come, so I'm gonna go back to betting on the favorite. I guess you could say.
Okay. I think I will go. There is something about that PlayStation, like, AAA thing that just kind of naturally gathers people to be like, well, obviously that. Maybe I'll give this one to Ghost of Yote. Maybe
Okay.
I'll say that. So you're saying Claire, I'll say Ghost of Yote as the winner for this. Okay. As the prediction. Game of the year. We got 6 games here. We have Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Devin,
I
what do you
always
think?
wonder if they. I'm going to say this. I always wonder why they do 6 for this award, and I think it's just to help split up the votes. So it doesn't makes it feel a little bit more exciting. Like if it was 5, I know it's only one less. I feel like it becomes more predictable. So I always feel like they throw in more, just one more, just to make it feel extra. I get it. I mean, the only one we haven't talked about is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm a Donkey Kong. Generally, I'm a fan, but I've not played the last couple games because of just they're expensive, or I didn't have the system to play it on, like this one. And I don't plan on buying another $500 console to play one game. But I know a lot of people did talk about Donkey Kong and how it kind of like refreshed the character and almost like built off of Mario Odyssey, which did win Game of the Year previously. Like it built off of like, what if we did that with Donkey Kong a bit and changed up some stuff? I know there's some things different, but like people said that if you like Mario Odyssey, you'll love Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's kind of the loose reviews I saw. And I think like I remember Mario Odyssey, like people liking it. I remember I played it, and then it just won the Game of the Year. And like, what if like Donkey Kong isn't up? I don't think from any other awards.
It didn't win the Game Awards Game of the Year for that year. That went to Zelda Breath of the Wild. They were the same year.
Oh,
But it was
I remember.
it
I
was
think
nominated.
it must have won other awards too. It might have been.
I'm sure it did.
I think you're right though. It's going to be Claire, just because if everyone's still talking about it, it's a game that's came out. I remember Donkey Kong was once again kind of like the other ones where everyone was talking about it for a bit and then that was it. But maybe I think Donkey Kong could be a dark horse here, where like maybe the other votes get split and Donkey Kong's like a top 3.
Sure,
If we're doing
sure.
ranked choice voting style,
Oh,
sometimes
yeah,
you just need to get the
I
third
think
party
what makes
kind of
Donkey
vote here.
Kong a bit of a like, well, like, I said this with Death Stranding 2, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I forget what the other game was, where they felt like, yeah, people talked about it for a week and then, or you haven't heard about it since. And then like Hollow Knight and Hades 2 are recent games that came out, and Clair Obscur has just people talk about it still. Donkey Kong was that kind of people talked about for like a week and a half, but there's the excuse of like, well, it's on a brand new console that not everyone owns, that a lot of people don't own, and they might not own it yet, and they don't even had a chance to play it yet. That they might, because I'm interested in buying this game. I don't own a Switch 2, but when I get a Switch 2, I was gonna buy this over Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Initially, just because reviews of Mario Kart didn't seem like it was actually all that cracked up to be based off the premise. But this game was like, yes, this is like the main Nintendo team, the Mario guys. They made a Donkey Kong game where they made a 3D platformer where everything is destructible, and like, how do you make that interesting? Actually, they figured it out. I don't think it's gonna win. It would be shocking if it did win this. I would be like, I guess that's cool. Not that Nintendo needs any like support, you know what I mean, in anything like
Let's
this.
be real. Do the Game Awards give a fuck about giving love to smaller, named publishers and whatnot? Like,
True.
historically, like every time we're like, this is the year to let a indie game win Game of the Year with Balatro. Like, this is the year to do it. It doesn't happen. And then year before that, we got Last of Us was a perfect example too. It was like Hades 2 or Hades. Felt fresh. Hades influenced how many games since? Like, how many now? There's so many.
Yes.
There is no Balatro, I feel like, without Hades. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that they didn't win Game of the Year that year because once again, like you said, I think there is still in the industry we got to respect these AAA big budget games.
This game looks so beautiful, and like a couple hundred people worked for so many years on it. Yeah. So like versus like, well, Balatro was just made by one guy, At the very least,
fun, but
we had the like, a 3D platformer won Game of the Year. That almost makes me think that like maybe some people won't vote for Donkey Kong just because like, well, a 3D platformer won last year. I can see a couple people thinking like that. I don't know if that's enough to really sway anything. But I also don't think it was really I don't think it was like neck and neck with another game for first place. I think that this will be Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I could see Hollow Knight. But here's the thing, I don't know. I don't know how much critics are like, definitely Hollow Knight Game of the Year. If this was a complete fan vote thing, because I think like 10% of the total votes come from fan stuff. But like, if this is a fan night thing, like, yeah, they just want that to happen because it almost exists outside of what a video game is. Like, there are so many kids that experience video games by like internet culture on YouTube and whatnot, and like drawing fan art of guys on Tumblr or whatever. You know what I mean? TikTok, right? Like, that's what would make Hollow Knight win if it was just that versus like what critics think. I think. Not that they would ever show the actual rankings, although if someone wants to leak that information that works with Jeff Keighley on this, please. I would bet hard money that last place would be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because it feels like the odd man out here. Unlike, people are like, yeah, this game, I heard it was really well done, but like, it's not up to any prestige level that the other 5 games that sit next to it have.
That's how I'm just doing a loose ranking in my head of like favorite to win, and I mean, we can pick one obviously, but I feel like it's Clair for me as one probable one, then Donkey Kong, then Hades 2, maybe Hollow Knight, then Death Stranding, then Kingdom Come. I feel like that's kind of my power rankings of like, I really think it's going to come down to Donkey Kong Clair, just because of I feel like it always comes down, every time we try to say it won't be, I feel like it always does come down to just like the hype game or the AAA or Sony backed or Nintendo backed game, and that's what happens. It doesn't matter what else happens in the awards. I just feel like the last couple years since 2020 with Last of Us, I feel like that's what it's been. Like, until we see otherwise, it's hard to bet against it. You know what I mean? Being like, well, this is the year everyone decides to give it away. Like, and maybe the people who are voting on this, they all do love just 3D platformers, and that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah, that you know what? I would be very happy if Donkey Kong won, what it means for the industry in terms of the people who care about this stuff enough to vote. My loose ranking is similar to yours. I think I might swap Hollow Knight um, with Hades 2 or Donkey Kong. Like, I think those three are kind of like I can see, but I think it's fun to be conspiratorial and be like
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley's personal interests are influencing this. That's obviously not the case, but like man has a hard on for Kojima in a way that I find ruins his reputation. Both of theirs reputation in terms of respectability.
So you
like,
want the true chaotic win,
get a
where
backbone.
Death Stranding 2 wins it. But
And
Death Stranding, the first one, I don't
pretend.
think was Death Stranding 1. I don't remember winning many stuff either.
No.
So I don't. Maybe Death Stranding 2 is even lower. Maybe Death Stranding 2 is lower than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I would wonder. I would love to see the vote breakdown at the end from more of the industry people, not the fan vote. But like I'd be curious. Maybe we're sleeping on Kingdom Come a little bit too much, but
maybe.
Hey, I picked them to win one award. I picked them to win that one award.
Sure. It sounds like we're both saying that we think that the game of the year will go to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Folks at home, what do you think will happen? This has been an hour-long video. I hope you like and subscribe. I'll probably edit some of this down, but maybe not much, because honestly, I don't really know what there would be, because I feel like we had so much important stuff to say. If you enjoyed the things we had to say, you can say with your finger click your vote on this by saying hit subscribe. There's a like button too, but like that subscribe button's even more important. It looks like that down there. It looks like that. Sort of. It's got the letter S in it. Yes, we're doing a live stream of this awards. We might have a man on the ground there in person to see how the awards are going to be like. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that, because we also there at the beginning predict the announcements or just stuff that will happen. Not the awards. We just did that. But the other things. And you're not going to want to miss that.
The commercials, basically.
Yes.
Or one year we said they'll show Pokemon in any capacity, whether it's a commercial or it's mentioned. Nothing.
That was the year where we had 0 predictions correct. But last year we had a couple because we lowered our standards for like how out there are some of these. Like, it needs to be like a man will wear shoes. That type of thing.
Jeff Keighley will wear a black suit, probably. Like,
maybe he'll wear some stupid ass sneakers that don't match his outfit. I know that for a fact.
It was only 1 year. That was only 1 year.
It was multiple years.
He's came back around. He's come back around. The fits were better last year. I remember the fits being better. We care about the fits.
As the most fashionable man on this side of the planet, I agree with you. Thank you guys for watching. Game on. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.